Hello and welcome to Module 2.7 Building a Team Part 2. As we learned in the previous video, a lot of the magic that allows innovative and effective teams to function is a mixture of individual perspective, group dynamics, and organizational structure and support. This video will illustrate how to bring these various elements together to harness their potentials and build and maintain an effective and innovative team. In this module, you will learn how to define teams' goals. You will also learn about role preferences in teams. You will learn how to maintain your team and also how to address conflicts in teams. While having a motivating vision, it is equally important to have a specific set of short and mid-term goals. A very hands-on approach to define, plan, and achieve common goals is the SMART acronym. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. And these attainable and achievable targets will help you succeed. To learn more about setting specific goals for a team, read our fact sheet below. Another essential part of team building is to identify the individual role preferences of each team member. One way to do that is using the Belbin model. Meredith Belbin observed and studied lots of teams in the 1970s and created the so-called Belbin Team Inventory. This inventory identified 9 main role types for efficient and successful teamwork. So you have, for example, the implementer, who is disciplined, reliable, and quickly turns ideas into action. Then there is the coordinator, who clarifies team goals and is very good at task delegation. Another very important member is the shaper, who provides the necessary drive and does not lose focus or momentum. The plant is the creative free thinker of the team. Then you also have the resource investigator, who's enthusiastic about exploring opportunities and developing contacts external to the team. Another very important role is the monitor evaluator, who is discerning and evaluates team processes against project goals. The team worker, a typical role, is cooperative, perceptive, and always diplomatic. Then we have the completer finisher, who loves detail and is very good in meeting deadlines. And the specialist, who is single-minded and provides very deep knowledge in a narrow subject. And as you can imagine, each of these complementary roles has strengths, but also allowable weaknesses, which is simply natural, because we're all human beings. And depending on the constellation, it can also be the case that one team member represents several of those roles, and there's also overlaps between those roles. So don't forget to check our fact sheet and worksheet to understand those team roles better and test your knowledge. On the following slides, we will address how to maintain teams and enhance the commitment and efforts of its members to reach the defined common goals. You might remember the success factors of effective teams that we introduced in the last module. In order to maintain a team, you should also pay particular attention to effective communication, diversity and inclusion, as well as team rituals. Let me give you some examples. We know that communication is a crucial tool not just to increase performance, but also to build trust between team members. More diversified organizations tend to outperform those with less diversity. Yet introducing diversity alone is not enough. Diversity is closely connected with inclusion, and it is very crucial to be aware of the intentional and sometimes hidden biases to create an inclusive team culture and working environment. And we all know how important but also fun team rituals are. Collective activities that foster regular formal and informal exchanges. There are so many examples such as sports and games, celebrating birthdays, organizing team retreats, or simply weekly lunches. In order to maintain a healthy team, you as team leader should regularly assess and consider potential barriers, conflicts, and misunderstandings when building your team. Of course, also the team members themselves should be aware of those issues. Patrick Lencioni summarized the main barriers that a team can face and designed the so-called trust pyramid of the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Because sometimes it's easier to study what can go wrong in order to learn from it and to know how to avoid it in the future. These dysfunctions, as you can see here in the middle of the slide, are mutually dependent and lead to several consequences as displayed on the right-hand side. On the left, you can see how to turn those dysfunctions into functions. Let's start with the first one. Absence of trust often happens in the beginning when teams are still cautious and have difficulties to ask for help because they do not want to appear too weak and vulnerable. Therefore, team members need to be encouraged to get to know each other, to build trust, and to express vulnerability in an open setting. Another dysfunction is the fear of conflict. We know that conflicts occur regularly within a team and are completely normal. However, most teams avoid discussions and prefer to conserve kind of an artificial harmony. But what teams actually need is a facilitated open dialogue and honest discussions. Another dysfunction is the lack of commitment. In this stage, teams find it difficult to commit to decisions because they simply feel excluded from decision-making process, leading often to ambiguity. And team members start to feel demotivated and disengaged. A team leader needs to support the team, recognizing their roles and responsibilities and actively involving them in decision-making processes to increase ownership. Another dysfunction is the avoidance of accountability, happening when team members start to ignore responsibilities, which can start from arriving late at work or even missing deadlines. A good leader should always track performances, be clear on accountabilities and also their consequences, while staying always fair and neutral. Inattention to results is mainly driven by ego and politics. Teams are often confronted with team members putting self-interest before the collective goals of the team. A team leader therefore plays a vital role here in clearly acknowledging all team members' contributions to the collective team goals. Don't forget to check out our fact sheets and get more detailed information regarding everything we spoke of today and to start shaping your team to become a dream team. Now that we've learned how to build an effective and innovative team, you can visit the next module and learn how to start an impactful